Today we're going to get right under the skin of a really stubborn problem, nerve pain. And we're going to be looking at treatments that promise to hit that pain right where it starts. We're talking creams, gels, and patches that are designed to bring relief without you ever having to swallow a pill. Have you ever had that deep, nagging pain that just laughs at a standard painkiller? You are definitely not alone. The really frustrating thing is that for nerve pain, oral medications only give real, meaningful relief to about half the people who take them. So what are you supposed to do then?
So let's be clear about what we're talking about. This is not your average muscle ache. This is neuropathic pain. It means the nervous system itself, the body's wiring, has gone haywire and is just firing off pain signals for no good reason. And this isn't some rare condition. It affects up to 8% of people. That is a ton of people out there looking for a better way to get a handle on their pain.
And right here, this is where you see a huge difference in how we approach pain. When you take a pill, that's a systemic approach. It goes everywhere in your body. And that, of course, can lead to side effects and weird drug interactions. But topicals, they're the complete opposite. They are all about precision, hitting the pain exactly where it hurts. Honestly, it's the difference between a surgical strike and a carpet bomb.
Okay, so going straight to the source, that sounds perfect, right? It just makes sense. But, and this is a big but, the second you start looking for these topical treatments, you realize you've walked into this incredibly crowded and confusing space. So how do you even begin to navigate it?
You know the feeling. You walk down the pharmacy aisle or you search online and bam, you are just hit with this wall of options. You've got products with serious science behind them sitting right next to custom mixed formulas and next to remedies that have been used for centuries. It's a lot. So let's try to bring some order to this chaos.
The best way to make sense of this is to break it all down into 3 tiers. Think of it like a pyramid. At the very top, in Tier 1, you've got your FDA-approved heavy hitters. These are the products that have really been put through the ringer with clinical trials. Then you've got Tier 2, which is this kind of gray zone of what are called compounded medications. These are custom mixed by a pharmacy, so they're not really FDA-approved as a final product. And at the bottom, Tier 3, well, welcome to the Wild West. This is where you find the unregulated stuff like CBD and herbal remedies, where it's really buyer beware. All right, so let's start at the top of that pyramid. Tier 1. Let's talk about the options that have the most rigorous scientific proof, the ones that have that official FDA stamp of approval. In the world of FDA-approved topicals for nerve pain, there are really 2 big names that pop up again and again: high-dose capsaicin and lidocaine. And there's a good reason for that. They're considered the gold standard because they have tons of clinical trial data backing them up. Okay, first up, capsaicin. Yeah, that's the same stuff that makes chili peppers hot. But we're talking about a super concentrated 8% patch that basically overwhelms and stuns the pain-sensing nerves into submission. Now, this is a serious treatment. It is not something you do at home. It's so potent, it actually has to be applied by a doctor in a clinic.
And does it work? Oh yeah, the results are pretty impressive. One major study on pain after a shingles infection found this patch reduced pain scores by almost 1/3. Now, if you're living with chronic pain, you know a 32% drop isn't just some statistic. That's huge. That can be absolutely life-changing.
But, and you knew there had to be a but, right? Here's the catch, and it is a big one. That powerful relief comes with an equally powerful price tag. We're talking about $955 for one patch. So think about that. If you needed to treat nerve pain in both of your feet, you'd be staring down a bill of almost $4,000 for a single treatment session. Wow. All right, the other big player in Tier 1 is lidocaine. You've probably heard of this one. It's a really common local anesthetic. The 5% patch works by basically blocking the channels in those damaged nerves so they just can't send as many pain signals. It's kind of like putting a muzzle on a constantly barking dog right at the source.
And surprise, surprise, we are right back to the cost issue. Look at these numbers. For a month's supply of lidocaine patches, you could be paying anywhere from $500 to over $1,200. And because insurance companies often refuse to cover them for a lot of conditions, you can see why people start thinking, okay, there's got to be another way, right? And that's what pushes them down into our next tier.
So what do you do when the stuff that's proven to work is just way too expensive? Where do you go from here? Well, this is where we get into Tiers 2 and 3, where the line between effective treatment and, let's say, hopeful remedies starts to get pretty blurry.
So welcome to Tier 2, compounded medications. The idea here is that a special pharmacy will whip up a custom mixed cream just for you, often with a cocktail of different drugs in one formula. And you can see the appeal, right? It's personalized, and it's usually a lot cheaper.
But, and this is a critical but, that specific mix has never been tested by the FDA for safety or to see if it even works.
And if you look at what's in these creams, you'll see some names you probably recognize. Drugs like ketamine or gabapentin, things that people often take as pills for nerve pain. The theory makes a lot of sense, right? Just put the drug right on the problem spot and skip the full-body side effects. But the big question, the problem really, is does it actually work? And the evidence for that is, well, it's pretty shaky, to be honest.
All right, let's leave the gray zone of Tier 2 and head down into the real Wild West, Tier 3. This is the land of everything else. We're talking about the over-the-counter CBD creams, the essential oils, the herbal remedies. The market here is massive, but any kind of real scientific or regulatory oversight, it's basically zero.
Let's just take CBD for example. I mean, it is everywhere, right? And there's so much hype. But here's the thing. There's a huge biological hurdle it has to overcome. As one expert review put it so perfectly, the amount of CBD that actually gets through the skin is essentially zero. So even if the idea is good, the practical reality is it's just not getting to the nerves where it needs to do its job.
Now, this doesn't mean everything in Tier 3 is snake oil, not at all. You have ingredients like menthol, chamomile, lavender. These have been used in traditional medicine for a very long time, and, there is some early science that suggests they might actually be doing something to help with pain and inflammation.
But this right here, this gets to the absolute core of the problem with Tier 3. The FDA treats these products like they're vitamins or food supplements, and that means there is nobody checking to see if they're safe, if the ingredients are pure, or if the dosage on the label is even accurate. You're essentially just trusting the company that made it.
Okay, so that is a lot of information. How in the world are you supposed to use all of this to make a smart choice for yourself or for someone you care about? Let's break it down into a simple playbook. All right, here it is, your personal playbook. 4 simple steps. Number 1, figure out which tier the treatment is in. Is it one of the heavy hitters with proven evidence, or are we in the gray zone, or even the Wild West? Number 2, weigh the cost versus the benefit. Is the relief you might get worth the price? Number 3, think about regulation. How much does that FDA seal of approval really matter to you? And number 4, and this is the big one, the most important one, talk to your doctor. They can help you put all these pieces together and make sense of it for your specific situation.
And really, it all boils down to this one question. When you're hurting, you just want the pain to stop. But in this world with so many choices, from the scientifically proven to the totally speculative, you have to decide for yourself. How much does the proof matter to you? It's a really personal choice, right? A tough balancing act between hope, what you can afford, and what the science says. Thanks for digging into this with us.